My family chose my sister's fiance over me, and I don't think I'll ever forgive them. I don't even know where to begin. I'm sitting alone in my tiny apartment, staring at a half-packed suitcase and feeling like I've been sucker punched by the people I love the most. I have always been close to my family, or at least I thought I was. I have one sibling, my younger sister Lily, and growing up, we were thick as thieves. We did everything together. Sleepovers in each other's rooms, made up our own secret language, snuck out to midnight movie marathons when we were teenagers. If you asked me a year ago, I would have told you she was my best friend in the world. Our parents, Mark and Janice, are complicated people. My mom's always been the picture-perfect PTA president, constantly baking casseroles for sick neighbors and organizing charity events while finding subtle ways to remind you of your flaws. My dad's a quiet man who mostly lets her run the show. They had high expectations for both of us, and neither of us escaped unscathed. But I always thought we stuck together through it all. Then Lily started dating Ethan. God, even typing his name makes my stomach turn. When Lily introduced him at a family barbecue last summer, I had a bad feeling immediately. He's one of those guys who's outwardly polite but radiates this smug, condescending energy. The kind of man who compliments your outfit while scanning you up and down, or who laughs just a little too hard when you make a mistake. No one else seemed to notice. To be fair, Ethan is successful. He's some kind of consultant for a tech firm and makes a ridiculous amount of money for someone who seems to do very little. He has that slick, rehearsed charm that makes parents swoon. And sure enough, within a week, my mom was practically planning the wedding. I tried to be supportive. I really did. I told myself it was my problem, that maybe I was being overprotective, that my gut feeling wasn't evidence. But little things kept happening. He'd make these passive-aggressive comments when Lily wasn't around, about how some people just settle in their careers. I'm a high school English teacher, so clearly I'm the underachiever of the family. Or how it must be so freeing to live in a one-bedroom apartment at my age. He once made a joke about my weight at Thanksgiving, something about how I must have taste-tested the pies a few times, in front of the entire family. I waited for someone to say something, but they just laughed along. I tried to bring it up to Lily once. I told her I thought he wasn't as great as he seemed, that maybe she should take a step back and really think about whether this was what she wanted. She shut me down immediately, accused me of being jealous, said I'd always been the golden child growing up and couldn't handle not being the center of attention. That stung because it wasn't true. I never felt like the golden child. I worked hard for everything I had while Lily got away with murder because she was the baby. But I let it go. Then came the engagement. It happened on a family trip to Vermont in December. Ethan proposed in front of everyone at the top of a snowy hill, with a freaking drone recording the whole thing. My parents cried. Lily screamed. Everyone clapped. And I stood there, frozen, feeling like I was watching a horror movie unfold in slow motion. I was expected to be the maid of honor. I told Lily I couldn't do it, that it didn't feel right pretending to support a relationship I didn't believe in, that I loved her, but I couldn't stand by while she married someone who belittled me every chance he got and treated her like a trophy. She didn't speak to me for 3 weeks after that. When she finally did, it was via a group text to announce she'd asked her best friend from college to be her maid of honor instead. The message was chirpy and cheerful, like nothing had happened. I replied with a simple, "Congrats," and left it at that. I thought maybe things would cool down after that we'd have some distance, but eventually patch things up. I even sent a Christmas card. No response. Then last week, the real bomb dropped. I got a call from my mom who said she wanted to talk. I was honestly relieved. I thought maybe she was reaching out to make peace. Instead, she blindsided me. She told me that since I was being so difficult about the wedding, it would be better if I didn't attend at all. I was stunned. I asked if she was serious. She said it would cause too much drama having me there, and that this was Lily's special day, that I needed to respect her wishes and stop being selfish. Selfish for not wanting to watch my sister marry a man who treated me like garbage, for standing up for myself for the first time in years. I asked my dad if he felt the same way. He said it was for the best. that maybe I could visit the weekend after to celebrate privately. I don't remember what I said after that. I think I just hung up. That was 4 days ago. Since then, no one has reached out. Not Lily, not my mom, not my dad, not even my extended family, who've clearly been told some version of events that paints me as the villain. And the thing is, it hurts. God, it hurts. But I also feel this wave of relief, like a weight's been lifted. I didn't realize how much of my life I'd spent trying to earn their approval. How many little slights I'd brushed off. How many times I'd played the role they assigned me. I boxed up the wedding gift I'd bought months ago and left it on the curb for donation. Canceled my flight. And tonight, I'm packing a suitcase. Not because I have anywhere to go, but because for the first time in my life, I'm considering moving somewhere far away. Starting over. Cutting contact. I haven't made any final decisions. Maybe tomorrow I'll feel differently. Maybe I'll crumble. But right now, I feel free. And maybe a little heartbroken. Yesterday was the wedding. And it was a disaster. Not because I was there, I wasn't, but because people always reveal who they really are eventually. Here's what happened. Saturday morning, I woke up to 6 missed calls from an unknown number. I ignored them. Then a voicemail came through. It was Lily's college best friend, the one who'd replaced me as maid of honor. Let's call her Rachel. Her voice was shaking. She just said, "I don't know if you'll listen to this, but you were right. About everything. I'm so sorry. Please call me." I honestly didn't know what to do. I hadn't spoken to anyone from my family in weeks, and now this? I called her back. She answered immediately and burst into tears, like ugly crying. Apparently, Ethan had gotten drunk at the rehearsal dinner the night before. Not tipsy, not buzzed, sloppy, angry, slurring his words drunk. He made a toast where he called Lily a handful and joked about how he hoped she'd stay hot after kids. People laughed nervously. Then later that night, Rachel walked in on him in a secluded hallway at the venue with one of Lily's bridesmaids. Let's call her Madison. They were making out. I swear, when Rachel told me that, I wasn't even surprised. Just numb. She confronted Ethan on the spot. He told her to mind her own business, and that what happens before the vows doesn't count. Rachel lost it. She tried to tell Lily immediately, but Lily was too stressed and emotional to listen. My mom apparently told Rachel not to ruin this for everyone. Classic. So Rachel left the rehearsal dinner early and spent half the night debating whether to call me. Fast forward to the next morning wedding day. Rachel decided screw it. She was telling Lily no matter what. She caught Lily in the bridal suite, told her what happened, swore on everything she loved that she wasn't lying. Lily lost it. Full-on breakdown. Screaming, sobbing, makeup running down her face. Apparently my mom came storming in, and instead of comforting Lily, she yelled at Rachel for spreading lies and trying to ruin Lily's big day because she's jealous. I wish I was making this up. According to Rachel, what followed was 3 hours of chaos. The bridesmaid, Madison, denied everything. Ethan told everyone Rachel was drunk and crazy. My dad tried to pay Rachel to leave and keep quiet. Yes, pay her. Lily didn't know what to believe. She accused Rachel of making it up because she was mad about not being maid of honor. My mom backed Ethan, naturally. Most of the bridal party sided with whoever they thought would benefit them more. At some point, a groomsman, who apparently also didn't like Ethan, stepped up and confirmed Rachel's story. Said he saw them too. That's when everything really fell apart. Lily finally confronted Ethan. He admitted it, but downplayed it, said it was just a stupid mistake and didn't mean anything, that they should still go through with the wedding because all couples deal with crap like this. And here's the part that broke me. My mom tried to convince Lily to marry him anyway, told her it would blow over and that she shouldn't throw away a future with a man like Ethan over one mistake. Reminded her of how much money had been spent, how people had flown in, how it would be embarrassing to cancel. Lily actually almost did it. She was so shaken, so broken down, that she almost married him anyway. Rachel said she was like a ghost, staring at the floor, nodding numbly, being pushed into decisions. And then my aunt stepped in. Bless that woman. My dad's younger sister. She wasn't part of the inter-family clique and never liked Ethan. She pulled Lily aside, told her she deserved better, and if she married him, she'd regret it every single day for the rest of her life. That was the turning point. Lily called off the wedding. Apparently, there was a full-on scene at the venue, guests arriving as people were packing up, Ethan shouting. My mom having a hysterical meltdown about how Lily had humiliated the family. My dad storming off. It was a disaster. I found all this out in bits and pieces over several phone calls with Rachel and eventually my aunt. Lily still hasn't called me. Not a text, not an email, nothing. I don't know what's going to happen now. I don't know if she'll ever apologize for how she treated me. I don't know if my mom will ever admit what she did. Honestly, probably not. And I don't know if I even want them back in my life. But I feel weirdly vindicated and sad and relieved. I spent so long thinking I was crazy, that I was overreacting, that I was the problem. Turns out I wasn't. It's been 3 weeks since the wedding. That wasn't, and it feels like a lifetime ago. 3 weeks ago, Lily called off her wedding after finding out Ethan had been cheating. At the time, she didn't reach out to me. Not a call, not a text, nothing. After everything we'd been through, after I got disowned from the wedding because I refused to pretend everything was perfect, after I got iced out of my own family, I told myself I didn't care, that I didn't need them, that I'd close the book on that chapter. But I did care. Of course I did. The first real contact came 6 days after the wedding. I was at work in the middle of grading final papers, headphones in, trying to tune out the world. I glanced down at my phone and saw her name. Lily. I stared at it so long the call went to voicemail. She called again an hour later, then again that night. Then the text started. Please call me. I need to talk to you. I'm so sorry. I ignored everyone. I know it sounds petty, but I wasn't ready. I needed to breathe. For the first time in years, I'd started sleeping through the night. I'd gone for long walks. I'd actually read a book for pleasure. I wasn't ready to let that peace get shattered again. On the 8th day, my dad showed up at my apartment. Without warning, no call, no text, just a knock on the door while I was eating cold pad thai in my pajamas. I opened it, and there he was, looking older than I remembered, more tired. Lines on his face I hadn't noticed before. He held a grocery bag of random stuff, a pie from my favorite bakery, a bag of my favorite coffee, a pack of those dumb bath bombs I like, as if a few trinkets could erase years of making me feel less than. We didn't say anything for a while, just stood there awkwardly in my doorway. Finally, he cleared his throat and said, "Your mom doesn't know I'm here." I didn't invite him in. I leaned against the frame and waited. He apologized. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't enough. But it was something. He admitted he'd known for a while Ethan was no good, that he'd overheard things, seen things, but convinced himself it wasn't his place, that my mom was so invested in the wedding, in the image, in the perfect family narrative, that he didn't want to be the one to disrupt it. And he admitted through glassy eyes that he was ashamed. I asked him one question. Why did you pick her over me? His voice cracked when he said, because it was easier. I don't know if you've ever heard your parent admit something like that, but it hit like a gut punch. He said he regretted it every day since, that watching Lily fall apart had forced him to realize what he'd lost with me, that he missed me, missed our Sunday breakfasts, missed our dumb text exchanges about bad TV shows, missed his daughter. I didn't forgive him. Not then, but I let him sit on my couch while I made coffee. We talked about nothing weather, the old neighbor's new puppy, how my classroom had a bee problem. It wasn't a reconciliation. It was a start. 3 days later, I agreed to meet Lily. It was at our favorite diner, the one we used to sneak off to in high school for milkshakes after curfew. I sat in a booth by the window, watching the snow fall in fat, wet clumps, wondering if I should have come. When she walked in, I barely recognized her. No makeup, hair thrown up in a bun, eyes red and puffy. She looked hollow. She slid into the booth, and for a moment, neither of us spoke. The silence stretched so long, it felt like a third person in the room. Finally, she whispered, "I messed everything up." And then she cried. Not the delicate, cinematic tears, the ugly, body-shaking sobs that make strangers look away. I just handed her a wad of napkins and let her fall apart. She told me everything. How Ethan had been cheating for months. How several bridesmaids knew and kept it quiet. How my mom had pressured her to forgive him because men have needs. How she felt trapped in this image of a perfect life she didn't even want. How she envied me. How I'd had the courage to stand up and say no when she couldn't. That last one broke me. We talked for 4 hours about our childhood, about how mom's approval always came with conditions, about how we'd both spent our lives twisting ourselves into whatever shape she needed us to be. I told her I was angry, that she'd hurt me, that she hadn't defended me when it counted. She owned it. No excuses, no, but I was stressed, just raw, messy accountability. She said she missed me, that she didn't deserve forgiveness, but hoped someday I might find a way to let her back in. I told her I wasn't ready, but maybe, someday. And then for the first time in years, we laughed about how we both still knew the entire dance routine to that terrible boy band song from middle school, about how Aunt Carla had allegedly gotten a tramp stamp in college, about how the world is so deeply stupid, sometimes you just have to laugh. I'm not pretending everything's perfect now. It's not. My mom still hasn't reached out. My dad sends tentative texts, and we've grabbed coffee twice. Lily and I exchange memes and articles about ridiculous reality shows. We're talking about taking a road trip this summer. Just us. I've started seeing a therapist. Turns out years of being the difficult daughter leaves a few scars. And for the first time in forever, I'm not chasing anyone's approval. I'm building a life that feels like mine. Small, quiet, peaceful. Books, coffee, long walks, bad movies, friends who feel like family. And maybe, just maybe, that's enough. To anyone reading this, wondering if you're overreacting, if you're too sensitive, if you're the problem,